So speaking about Jeffrey Epstein and the people who, are claiming that they had nothing to do with him, I made a video about a very famous doctor out there, Dr. Peter Attia, a longevity doctor who appeared close to 2,000 times in the Epstein files. And the problem here is that it's one thing to have been named 2 or 3 times, to appear 2 or 3 times in the Epstein files. John Doe appeared in the Epstein files, and you see that the appearances 2 or 3 times when he was rejecting invitations to meetings organized by Jeffrey Epstein. That is one thing, okay? Another thing is appearing close to 2,000 times. And this video, people realize that this guy is not what he was pretending to be. Even so, he replied. He made a public reply today about this. And I'm going to analyze this from, let's say, a statement perspective to understand how this is a lot of baloney. Okay? But let's see how he addresses this, how he addresses the fact that he had these conversations and the content of these conversations. For reference, just go and watch my previous video on this. I'm going to mention some of that, the content of that video, but let's go to this directly. The following email is what I sent my team last night. I sent a similar version to my patients also. You have put your trust, your credibility, and your hard work into what we have built together, and I take that responsibility seriously. You deserve a complete and honest account of what I did and did not happen. I apologize that I did not get this out sooner, but I want to be thorough. This, let's say, a common topic in the people who address this, in which a ton of other celebrities and, let's say, non-people are coming forward and clarifying after the fact that they appear in the files. They knew they had shared, they knew they had been in contact with Epstein in one way or another, and we had to wait until the Epstein file dump for them to come clean, which is a problem because, yeah, it's like it doesn't count. Or at least it hurts your credibility. It would have been much better to come clean before you were exposed. But, well, this is the best that we get, I guess. The purpose of the Department of Justice releasing these documents is clear: to identify individuals who participated in criminal activity, enable it, or witness it. I am not in any of those categories, and there is no evidence to the contrary. All right, man. So there's a problem with this. I'm going to just cut to the chase. I'm going to mention 2 things that he says here that absolutely make no sense, so you can spot the inconsistencies of somebody who is trying to get off the hook. I am practicing my English idioms. Please bear with me. Off the cuff, off the hook. Some two totally different things. Off the hook. Number 1, I was not involved in any criminal activity. Okay, fair enough. Number 2, my interactions with Epstein had nothing to do with his sexual abuse or exploitation of anyone. Okay, that is great. Number 3, I was never on his plane, never on his island, and never present at any sex parties. All right, fair enough. But there's a problem. I have a problem with something that he says down the line, has this wall of text that 100% I am not going to read. But the thing that I have a problem the most is that he tries to make it seem that he didn't know the real Epstein. I was hanging out with this dude and I didn't know what a creep he was. Ew. Oh, forgive me because of being so naive, such and such. And the proof that he is trying to make this point is in this very short paragraph that I'm going to highlight in here. In November 2018, I read the Miami Herald investigative article. I was repulsed by what I learned, nauseated. It marked a clear and irreversible line between what I knew before and what I understood afterward. It's like, oh, he had a sudden realization who the real Epstein was, right? Again, he wrote this. He posted this less than, 1 or 2 hours ago. But there's a problem. because besides the content and the things that I share with you in yesterday's video, there's also this that is not on that video. Thanks to Jennifer Gunter, the Miami Herald story about Epstein broke on November 28, 2018. There are emails from Dr. Peter Attia to Epstein on December 4, 2018. And what do those emails say? What is the fallout from recent story? Is there legally any change? He was worried about the Miami Herald story having any legal repercussions on his Epstein friend. So that's how you know that that wall of text that I'm saving you from reading, and I am absolutely not reading, that is void. Because he says, oh, in 2018 with that Miami Herald article, I understood that the real dude that was behind all of that. I understood who was the real Jeffrey Epstein. BS. I call BS. You literally knew because you were asking Jeffrey Epstein himself if that same article, that same expose had any repercussions on him. If he was in danger legally or anything. How about that? How about that? It's incredible, right? How people expose themselves. As he exposed themselves when, in his book, he made sure to, very narcissistically, that both psychopaths and sociopaths have this in common. They like to play with fire. Playing with fire is part of the, how attractive is this? And I want to mention of that playing on fire that in his book, this is from my previous video, in his book, Outlive, Peter Attia shares that his 1-month-old son almost died and his wife begged him for 4 days to come to the hospital where she was alone, but he didn't due to his important work in New York. Turns out that important work was meeting with Jeffrey Epstein. That was important work. So he made sure to include in his book a very specific reference of a month, a day, and time. And he was away from his son and his wife, and his son, 1-month-old son, who literally died and was resuscitated, and spent 4 days. They spent 4 days alone at a hospital while he was in New York, knowing that by the trace of his emails, he could have been caught immediately as he was caught with this release. He was hanging out with Epstein. That is playing with fire. That's what the kind of person that we are dealing with. Are you going to seriously consider that this wall of text? Let's see. I met Epstein in 2013 through a prominent female healthcare leader while I was raising funds for scientific research. At that time, he was widely known in academic and philanthropic circles as a founder of science and moved openly among credible institutions and public figures. Between the summer of 2014, and this is my question, by the way. You were talking about scientific research. Scientific research. Anybody, you don't need to have a medical degree. You don't have to be a scientist. But if you are in medical and science research, you absolutely must be aware there's a lot of phonies out there. People that are fake. People that fake resumes, people that fake research, people that fake data, and you have to be very careful what do you link into so you become really good at research of people and their, let's say, what they do. You mean to tell me, you being a doctor and understanding the risks of poor research and not knowing the background of somebody or if they have a solid reputation as researchers, you're not going to research anybody that you hang out with and the connections especially if you're going to frequent them, and especially if they have this liking to you, you're going to tell me that, I don't know, you, how to say it? He says this, shortly after we met, I asked him directly about his 2008 conviction. He characterized it as prostitution-related charges. But if Peter Attia knew about the 2008 conviction, he 100% knew it was about underage prostitution. He is acknowledging that he obviously, he can't deny that. He knew about that, and he must have known, because everybody who knew who Jeffrey Epstein was and what he had done, you know that the key word here is not prostitution, it's underage. But even so, he decided to just keep hanging out with him. Oh, all right. I came to learn this was grossly, I came to learn in 2018. I came to learn this was grossly minimized. More on this below. I was incredibly naive to believe him. I mistook his social acceptance in the eyes of the credible people I saw him with for acceptability, and that was a serious error in my judgment. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. These people are really psychopaths. These people are really psychopaths. Make sure that to check my previous email on this. Not email. Oh my God, Freudian slip. My previous video on this guy, and it is even worse. That wall of text justifying his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is even worse. But again, as usual, I would love to know what do you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.